All right, so we're going to learn about the passive voice, but specifically the present tense. And remember, kind of going back to verbs, you had two voices. You could be either active, which was the first one we learned, or passive. Okay. Remember, we are still dealing with the present tense. Okay, so things are happening now. Okay, not tomorrow, not yesterday, now. We are living in the present. Okay, real quick, let's review conjugation. Remember, we have verbs that belong to different families, kind of like we have declensions for nouns, but verbs are conjugations. And our first conjugation verbs will end in O in the first principal part and ARE in the second principal part. Okay, and we need these two principal parts to help tell our conjugation. Most verbs have four principal parts, but we need these two specifically for conjugation. So like our example verb paro, parare, is second conjugation. And then our other example verb, the one that's for second conjugation, is teneo, tenere. Okay, so again, paro is first because of O and ARE. Teneo is second because of EO and a macroned ERE. Okay, so let's go to present passive. And we still have three other conjugations to learn about, but that will come soon enough. Okay, now these are the endings for the passive voice for the present, the next tense that we'll learn, which is called imperfect, and then the tense after that we'll learn, the perfect. Excuse me, not perfect, future. I got this, future. So our endings are ris, tor, more, mini, ontor. Now, a couple of things. We had vowels in parentheses in the present active, but remember, we're not using those yet, and so we're still not using the vowels that are in parentheses. Now, I do need to add one thing, and that is right here on the second plural, your mini, that last I should have a macron over it. Okay? So again, ris, ter, mer, mini, unter. Okay? They're fun to say. Now, as we kind of go back and we think about our active endings, which were O or M, S, T, mus, tis, and und, okay, the very basics of them, you can see some similarities. So for example, second singular here with the ris, and second singular and active ends in S. For third singular, our T still has the T, but now you have or after it. Mus is probably the closest, and that S at the end just changes to an R, okay? Second plural changes quite a bit, okay? We went from tis to mini, and then our third plural kind of did like our third singular, where we just took our active one and we just added or to the end of it, okay? And I know I left out the first singular, but they're pretty different as well, okay? So just make sure that you're learning the differences, okay, because they are important. So the passive voice, the subject is receiving the action. Okay, so let's write that down over here. In the passive voice, the subject receives the action. Okay, so in your present active, the subject is doing the action, but in passive, the subject receives the action. Okay, and I will tell you that generally you are not supposed to write in the passive voice, but that's more of an English thing when you write, especially papers for like college or what have you. You're discouraged from writing in the passive voice. However, the Romans have no problem with it. No problem whatsoever. Okay, so we need to talk about translating for this tense. What are some helpers? And so our helpers are going to be is, am, or are blanked. Okay, so like is, am, are loved, hated, eaten. Okay. So let's get into our forms. Okay. So I'm going to try to leave it like that. So for our present passive first singular, we're going to take that first principal part. Okay. And I'm going to drop the O. No, I'm not. I'm not going to drop the O. That was a dumb thing to say. Sorry. Sometimes I just get ahead of myself. So we're going to keep the O. Okay. We are going to drop the macron though. Like there should be a macron. There should have been a macron over the O, but we're going to drop it. So we have paro. And then we're just going to add our present passive ending, which is are. Okay. And so this is going to be I am prepared. Okay. Now for the rest of these, we are going to take our second principal part and we're going to drop the RE. Okay. So our stem is para. And then we're going to add ris. So we have pararis. And this should be you are prepared. Okay. For third singular, we're going to take para. Now, back in the active, we dropped the macron over the A. But for the passive, for third singular, we're going to keep that A with a macron, and we're going to add tor. So we should have parator. And so this is he, she, or it is prepared. Okay. On first plural, again, para. We have our macron over the A, and this is more. So paramor. And this is we are prepared. Okay. Second plural, again, para. And we're going to add mini. So M-I-N-I with a macron at the very end. And this is y'all are prepared. All right, and then last but not least, third plural. Now, third plural in the active, we dropped the macron over the A, and we're going to do that here with third plural. So we'll have para, but again, no macron over that A, and then add untor. So we have parantor. And this is going to be they are prepared. Okay, so there's our example of a first conjugation verb. Let's move to teneo and our second conjugation verb. And again, your O in the first principal part should have a macron. But remember, we're going to drop it when we go to the first singular in the present passive. And then we're just going to add are. So this is I am held. Okay. Then we're going to go to that second principal part. We're dropping the RE. So I have tene, and we're going to add ris for tenedris. And this is you are held. For third singular, we're going to add tene. And remember, for third singular in the present passive, we keep the macron over the E. So we have tenetor. So this is he, she, it is held. Okay. First plural, we're going to have tene and then add more. So tene more. And it's we are held. For second plural, again, tene, but we're adding many. And again, a macroned I at the end. So this is y'all are held. And then third plural, we're taking tene, but we're dropping the macron, and then we're adding ontor. So tenentor, and this is they are held. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you soon.